conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping.
You know my name yet?
And Anthony Lionheart Smith.
Who cares? Who cares? Welcome to the show, everybody. The one and only Iron Lung, Mr. Paul Felder, live at us from Philadelphia. I don't know what that was.
From the home of the Philadelphia Eagles, who shat all over the bed on Monday Night Football, stayed up late, blew it at the end, bad calls, some bad football. But you know what? I live to see another day, Michael. I can't let football ruin my life. I'm not that diehard, but
Please don't let it ruin your life.
That one hurt, though. You know, you stay up, you have a couple beers, you think you're going to win, and then it just gets stripped right from you.
Let me ask you, do you like to place a little bet on these sporting events? No, on the UFC, we can't.
No, and that's not even it. That's not even where my rage and upsetness comes from. It's just I go to bed early mostly, so if I stay up for a Monday night game on the East Coast, gets you up to like 11 something. So it's pretty late.
Well,
but no stake in the game. No stake in the game.
It's not just the UFC that has bad calls.
No,
it's every bloody sport. It is what it is. Well, this week, talking of sport, talking of bad calls, talking of UFC, we have no fights this weekend.
I was looking up the card. I'm like, oh, clearly there's a fight before we go and work Paris, and there was not. I was like, wow. I guess it makes sense. So Sphere just happened. Those guys all had to be working like crazy hours to be able to pull that thing off, especially on the production side. So I guess this is the perfect week for everybody to kind of have a down week to chill out. Still contender, though. Still contender the other night. More contacts.
I had contender on Tuesday. No white fights this weekend. Nice little break.
Yeah.
But then we both fly off to Paris. Yep. Then I stay there for a bit. Then we go. I get back on Saturday, October 5th. I had no idea. There's a pay-per-view in Salt Lake City, Alex Pereira. Then we got another one later in the month, Abu Dhabi. I beat that one. And then we got Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
So we've got quite the run coming up. In fact, Harrington, you have the cards coming up as a backdrop. You would think you'd do that by now.
No, they're hanging out in the background. You can't really see it from here, but yeah, I got look at that. Yeah. The main event for the next 3 cards.
Yeah, very exciting stuff. Never ever give Harrington one shot ever again. Wow. Oh dear. No, but we do have some stuff to talk about. So there's a thing here with Max Holloway. What did he say? Max Holloway says that the UFC has been hiding Ilia from him. Right? Hold on. Let me adjust my eye. Max Holloway says the UFC has been hiding Ilia Topuria from him on the rise to the title because they didn't want Max to beat another surging contender and vows to prove why that was a good idea when they fight. Now, of course, Max Holloway, incredible stuff. We all know what he did at UFC 300 versus Justin Gaethje. He's fighting for the belt. He's a legend. He's incredible. But I got to disagree with him.
Yeah.
I got to say, don't say you got the same take. We haven't spoke about this. I think it was the other way around. They didn't want, listen, let's just say Max Holloway was to beat Ilia Topuria.
Yeah.
As they were coming up, they've got 2 contenders. Max Holloway beats everybody not named Volk. Ilia Topuria is doing massive things. They fight each other and Holloway wins again. What are we going to do? Volk versus Holloway 17
on the moon.
I think that's why maybe they, not purposely, but purposely didn't match them up, because if Max wins, then it's the same shit we've seen all over again.
Yeah. I mean, and at that time, now there's been some time. Now both guys, like Max is back on the rise and Volk is kind of in need of some wins, and Ilia Topuria is rising right perfectly to the top with that belt. I think it makes sense now for that fight to happen. Whereas before, of course, Max is going to say that kind of stuff. But man, obviously I can't make a pick because I will be working that event in October, and I'm so stoked to see that fight live. But man, I've been watching a lot of Ilia Topuria stuff. I've been a big fan of that kid for a long time, since he debuted on Fight Island. And I remember we talked more about his jiu-jitsu skills back then. Then he comes out, starts ripping the body shots that a lot of people are leaning towards Max, and I think that's of course justified, and there's reasons for that. But bro, I think Ilia Topuria is the new wave of champions. I think
there's a lot of recency bias in that as well.
I agree. You know,
I ain't talking shit about Max. I would never do that. Number one, as a person, he's phenomenal. Second, as a fighter, he embodies all the Mexican fighting spirit, the Hawaiian fighting spirit, spirit. He's got all of it. He's got beautiful technique. He's been great for the sport. So I ain't talking shit. I'm just, Ilia Topuria is unreal. I saw footage of him yesterday hitting the pads, and man, he is lightning fast. We've seen the knockout power.
So smooth.
We've seen the wrestling.
Yes, and that's the thing, Michael. We really haven't even seen much of that lately from him. I'm telling you, when we first called his stuff, we were all talking about John Gooden, especially, was really raving, as you know he can do.
Well, because I went to Spain and I know Ilia Topuria. Oh my God, my word! They are training really hard. Love you, John. I'm
my
joking.
word. That's a good John Gooden impression. But we were talking about he's got leg he's got leg locks. He's got all this. He's got great wrestling. But then he's just let his boxing kind of do the talking for the rest of his time in the UFC so far. But I'm telling you, the Max Holloway fight's a damn good fight where we could really see a bit of everything out of Ilia Topuria. If he has to wrestle, because I'm telling you, and I don't mean this insulting to Volk either, but clearly he does what Volk does, only clearly a little better, right? I mean, he beat Volkanovski hands down, knocked him out, finished him. Volk couldn't do that to Max. I know that MMA math and matchups are always intriguing. They don't always line up like that, right? But if skill for skill, and what Ilia does well is just kind of a younger, more polished, I think more dangerous, powerful version of what Volkanovski brings to the table. Minus the leg kicks. He's not much of a leg kicker, whereas Volk in the first fight in particular did a lot of work with the leg kicks against Max. Well,
if you listen to Ilia Topuria, he says that he is better than him everywhere. He's got better skills, better kicks, better takedowns, and he even says he's more handsome.
Well, I think he's got that one. I got to say that Max has been punched in the face a few times. Ilia's still got some time.
He also says that if he does that thing where he points at the floor and wants to trade blows, it is over for him.
He wants him to do it in the first round. He said, if you're going to do it, why not just come out and point? That's where I'm like, those are big things to say, but when Max starts pointing at that mat, man, very few people do well when they start throwing. But I feel like Ilia is one of those guys where if you want to just throw power shots, although we just said the same about Justin Gaethje too, right? We just said that pre-fight. We said that pre-fight, and then Max shut everyone up with that. But again, that's where the recency bias I do think comes in, Michael, where he's riding so high off of how he looked, especially in that last fight, that I think we're forgetting that, he had some fights where he wasn't quite the Max that we remember. And now he's getting back to form. So that's why it's such an amazing fight. And that's why it's the perfect time for it to happen. And Max is still relatively young, right?
30s? Oh, yeah. He's 32, something like that, which is mental because he's been around forever. But I'm going to say, for just engage it, because, the man was right there for a title fight. Yep. And fair play, he's taking some time away from the sport and he's letting his brain heal. But never mind that. How much do you think that pisses him off? Because that's one of those highlights for days. When Max points, he says, let's do it.
And then they show that.
Boom. Face down. It stings, man, because it's like, okay, I got caught. It got caught. It's like, no, I decided to say, yeah, sweet. Let's do this. Let's have a dick measuring contest and see who's bigger.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the guy coming up from a weight class gets you.
Yeah. And a guy who's not known recently for his one punch knockout power puts you, face planting hard. Probably second knockout was when he fell and hit the floor.
Obviously, I've been there, not face plan, but against Dan Henderson. That was my worst loss when he flatlined me for days. What was yours, Paul? You ever been knocked out cold?
I never got knocked out cold. I'd say the worst things that happened to me were always just injuries, man. Like broken my face really bad. I've broken my arm. I had a punctured lung and things like that. I think sometimes It's different for everybody. A lot of guys have really bad finishes where they've been knocked out. A lot of guys, for me, it was the damage from not getting knocked out that ended up accumulating. So
it's always the way.
But it's bad either way. If you get the concussion from the knockout or the accumulative shots from not getting knocked out, it's just like, yeah, I've always had a pretty big, thick head, to be honest with you. So, and I've come close though. Like Mike Perry probably is the worst one to have ever rocked me on my feet. And I remember not remembering much once that fight was over, and he broke my arm. So that was probably one of the worst battles damage wise.
I have a tough time explaining to people because there's still a lot of boxing purists, certainly in the UK and other parts of the world. You know, everyone's on board in America, but people are like, it's too brutal. It's too brutal. I'm like, boxing is more dangerous than MMA. And they don't get it. And it's to your point. It's the accumulation of shots when you don't get knocked out. That's what messes you up. Not to mention, Paul, you left a piece of your lung in New Zealand.
In Phoenix, Arizona. That's where the lung was. There was injuries there's a part of me left in New Zealand. Trust me. Something didn't come back with me from that one. But yeah, Dan Hooker's got that in Auckland that he's got on his shelf.
So I'm assuming maybe not. Like anytime they've removed something from me, like I had the disc replacement recently, I was like, can I get the disc? And when they took something out, I forget what it was. I said, can I? Oh, my knee. And when they took my knees out, I'm like, can I get my knees? I would love them in like a glass jar.
They don't, right?
It's like, no, it doesn't work like that. We break it down and all the rest of it. Yeah. Did you ask for your piece of lung?
I remember after the fact I did, and they're like, yeah, it's already gone. Like it's already in a biohazard thing. But I do have a photo of it that the doctor sent to me. You know, they thought I'd want to at least see it, and they did. I didn't know. And when I had the surgery, I didn't know they were going to cut a piece of it out because it was just a basic collapsed lung. And it
just a basic collapsed lung, no big deal.
Right, I know, horrifying, but like to them, it was they're used to it, right? They're lung doctors, they're surgeons that deal with the respiratory system all the time. They see it in car crashes, like rock climbers that fall from a far distance, some football players, like anything where there's just crazy impact. They see a lot of collapsed lungs. So to them, it was another day in the office. To me, it was like, what are you talking about? Like I just had a fight. I didn't expect to come in here with a collapsed lung. Because when I went in, I was going in to have my kidneys checked because I was peeing. You know how it is. I ate a few really good body shots. I peed a little blood, and I was like, oh, man, like my ribs hurt. I'm having trouble breathing. And the doctor wanted to have me scan for my kidneys. And in scanning the kidneys, they saw that the lung had collapsed. But anyway, when they went in and did the surgery, I thought they were just going to find where it had collapsed, patch it, and do what they do. And apparently there was like a chunk of it that was damaged from that. So they had to remove it. It's a small piece, but it was like this much of my lung.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I was so worried my cardio wasn't going to be the same. Well, I've proven that was not true.
Well, I was going to bring that up, but obviously that's a big one. That's a big one, having a piece of lung.
You know how that is. That was the one where when I was sitting down with the family, when they came out to visit me and I was still in the hospital with a tube sticking out of my chest, it's like, how much longer do I want to do this? Do you know what I mean?
But the question I've got is, because I get asked this all the time, obviously the eye, I've got to go get a new eye today. I'm recovering from neck surgery. I've got no knees and I've been through it all a million times. Not going to bore you all, but people say, any regrets? If you had a chance to do it all over again, would you do it? 100%. And I say every single time. Yeah. Yes, because A, it's who I am. B, I love it. 3, it's just the life I've lived is incredible compared to being stuck in an office somewhere. I live in California, what it's done for me, what it's done for my family, the opportunities, the money that I earned through those fights as well. Absolutely life-changing. I wouldn't blink, wouldn't hesitate.
No. Yeah. And like, obviously when I broke my arm and things like that, that was a fight that I took up a weight class. I didn't need to do it. I was ranked as a lightweight, but I wanted to win money. I wanted to fight. I wanted to stay busy. And everyone after that, well, you fight Mike Perry, it didn't go your way. I was like, it could have happened in training. I could have broke my arm. I got, I went out there and laid it on the line, and it didn't go my way. I would still have taken that fight again.
Yeah, oh no, for sure. And you probably would have taken it on the street because let's be honest, Paul. You know, you're a learned man. You studied the fine arts. You went to theatre school.
Theatre,
you know.
yes.
We've seen you doing your little pirouettes on stage.
Oh,
and whatnot,
yes.
You know, doing your best little Billy Elliot. You were a man of the arts, but you're also a feisty little bastard. Do you know what I mean? And you find yourself in scraps on the street. So you take that inner fire, you know, that we all have as fighters, and you put it to use, something productive, something good.
Yes.
You know, I guess that this reminds me, I was having a little back and forth on Twitter recently. Well, not a back and forth. I'm not here to talk shit about Luke Thomas, but Luke Thomas, because we're talking about injuries. We weren't going to talk about this, but it just popped in my head. Irene Aldana last week, she got one of the worst cuts, man. And it's so bad.
The worst, I think, is safe to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, for sure. It's horrendous. Horrendously bad. So bad, we can't even show it on YouTube.
Wow.
It's the show got taken down. Yeah, it's so graphic and it's awful. And then Luke Thomas posted it, and it was something along the lines of, "This is one of the worst cuts, and this is a reason why once again fighter pay needs to be looked at." And I responded, and I've had some people understanding it, but I've had a lot of people coming back and saying, "Oh, Bisping, how dare you go against fighters getting more money?" It's like, number one, that wasn't the conversation. He was saying fighter pay needs to be looked at because of this cut. My point was, listen, that cut could have happened doing a hobby martial arts. You could break your knees, you can blow your knees out in wrestling. You know, you could be boxing on the prelims of a Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather card and get paid $100. You could have done it on the regional scene. You could have done it in your garage or down your local gym. The reality is, when you're doing these kind of sports, these things happen. Now, I'm all for fighters getting paid as much money as possible. And I love it when I see fighters getting paid massive paydays, because trust me, there is a lot of people getting big paydays. And I love it when I see people having big success, like Dustin Poirier is getting paid millions of dollars, but he's got the hot sauce and this and that, you know. And when I hear about this stuff, it fills my heart with joy. Right? I'm so happy because they deserve it. But the point I was making was about the cut. The cut is... Sadly, it's a part of the process. We don't all get cuts like that. No, but we all understand that we can.
Yeah, that was just bad luck. It was from an accident, a completely accidental clash of heads started that bad boy, and then the jabs opened it up. And I think I'm 100% in agreement that, of course, especially as a retired fighter, like I was just talking to Sean Brady. We did a bike ride the other day, and I was talking about where he's at and in his contract and how well he's doing now and winning. Bro, I was so stoked to hear that things are going well for him, that the contracts are going well. Like we want nothing more than these guys to make and go and make more than we ever did moving forward as the sport grows and it becomes bigger. But you're right. That could have happened in a local sparring match in a gym if nobody's wearing headgear. And I think one of the things we got to really talk about is, what about the doctors and the referees cage side then? That thing was hanging open for a long damn while. And if we're worried about how much she's making, then that corner needs to also consider stopping that fight, or the doctors need to consider stopping that fight. You know what I mean? Like that goes well beyond how much she's making. That should have been stopped when it started to look as bad as it did. Now that thing is split all the way down her face and it carves over. And I know she's handling it well. She's been posting updates on how it's healing up, but
it's tougher for a girl though as well, because that, you know, look, listen, I've had some pretty nasty cuts and you can't really see them on first glance. You get closer, you can see a few scars and whatnot. Yeah. And scars fade, as you know. Even the scars when they did my knee replacements, one side is really bad, but the other side, you can hardly notice it. Yeah. So it will fade eventually, but it's always going to be there. And yeah, makeup definitely helps. But for a girl, I think it's a little tougher to handle because, you know, they care more about their presence and they want to look pretty. And
she's a sweetheart, man. Aldana is an absolute sweetheart. Like you know, that video she posted, she's still putting makeup on it. Yeah. It does absolutely break your heart. And I see where MMA community and the journalists are coming for. And listen, I also want to say that I do appreciate that they are standing up for fighters wanting to, you know, get more money and stuff. But we talked about it too. Like, you know, you sign that contract to get cut. You know what you're making. And I just don't know that that is the reason to be like, look, I think brain damage, I think getting concussions, I think things like that are the reasons that these athletes should be getting more money, not because that's a freak. That cut is a freak situation.
I didn't actually see the fight. I'm annoyed now. I didn't know it was a clash of heads, but still.
It was a bump of heads. And then the jab, but then Norma Dumont just kept landing the jab. And obviously at that point, Aldana, I don't know how you could even see, because I remember the cut I got on this side that was really bad. The fight was stopped. It was nowhere near as bad as Aldana's cut. I kept looking at my couple of my friends that were over watching it. Mike, she got hit at one point with a jab. This is a video you wouldn't be able to show on this. She got hit with a jab. They showed it in slow-mo, and you saw her whole face shift open. I mean,
sorry, who was this? I lost. You broke up a second. Who was that?
I saw a slow-mo clip of her getting jabbed in the fight. So any doctor that went up to that and opened it up, I just don't know why. I can't believe it continued. I can't believe it went to a decision.
Yeah, I understand that. But
it did, right? It did go to a decision.
Yeah, it did.
Right?
It went to a decision, yeah. But on the flip side, though, Aldana, and this is what people, and I understand, and to your point, yeah, they have good intentions for the fighters, but they also want to be social justice warriors, some journalists, you know what I mean? Because it's popular to hate on the UFC and talk shit and all the rest of it. And this isn't about me being a company man before you all start. It changed my life, right? I was a fool. I was an idiot. I was getting locked up. I was in prison. I was getting arrested a lot. All of a sudden I found the purpose, and they'd say, well, you could have done that anywhere. Well, I didn't. I did it in the UFC, and it changed my life, and it still does to this day. And having that purpose, and it's not just me, it's so many other fighters.
I mean, I got a job. I mean,
the majority
we have jobs now.
well, we do have jobs, and that's hard as well. I tell you what, it was hard making a transition from being the fighter to like being in the corporate side, if you will. Because like at the start, you could tell someone to go f- themselves.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's like, I know.
And they're like, Mike, we need to talk. I'm like, why? What's up? Well, did you tell such and such? I'm like, yeah. They're like, bro, you can't do that anymore. Before, if you're fighting main event, Madison Square Garden, like no one's gonna say shit to you. If you're in a bad mood or whatever. So
I remember even early on, like I can remember having sassy text messages with like Zach and stuff, and I was like, I would never do that now. Like, I would never be like, oh, whatever, Zach. I'd be like, fuck, he's gonna take me off all my jobs now. And he's not. You know what I mean? Like Zach's cool as shit, but
he is. He's great. Yeah. For people that don't know what we're talking about, I guess we better move on because we can sit here and have a proper laugh about comedy and stuff all day long. But Irene Aldana, hope she, heals up.
Yeah, well. And talk about embodying that Mexican spirit on Mexican Independence Day fight. I mean, it was savage. She's an absolute monster, and I shouldn't even say that. She does not look like one. Hopefully those scars heal up. I know, my God, because again, I'm a big fan, and I think she's a really, really nice person. So I really hope that she puts all the vitamin D or whatever it is you're supposed to put on scars. Heal that one up, baby. I hope you get back in there.
What do you put on scars to make it heal up well? Quick.
You put like a silicone gel.
Silicone gel.
I know. Heard that? Yes, I've heard the silicone.
What else? What did they give me? Arnica or something? What was that? Moderna. It didn't work. I still look like shit.
Silicone gel works.
Silicone gel. Why didn't you tell me when I was fighting?
I didn't know that.
She didn't know then. She was keeping it quiet. She likes guys with scars, I guess.
Makes sense.
Chicks do like scars.
Yeah.
I don't know if it works the other way around.
No. Listen, that's the thing about men, though. There's definitely a dude that is going to be into scars like that. Do you know what I mean? There's
100%.
definitely a dude. There's always a dude that's into it.
Isn't it crazy? Have you you see someone and you think because we can appreciate that a guy comes across as handsome. You know what I mean? He's put together well. He's in shape. He's got good features. Right. Dresses well, educated, talks well. And then they walk up and they've got an absolute minger of a girl or something. Yeah. You're like, I don't get it. Yeah. But there's someone for everyone out there.
There certainly is. There certainly.
But I've seen a few. I'm not saying any names though. I'm like, Jesus, that surprised me.
Yeah.
You're very accepting. Are you ready for the ultimate college football season? It's MyBookie's 10-year anniversary, and you can bet on every game and win anytime, anywhere, straight from your mobile device. No app is needed. Just click the link and use the promo code BELIEVE. It's a quick sign up and then you're ready to win. Turn your football season into your best winning season yet with MyBookie. Whether you're rooting for your alma mater or betting on a hunch, there is no better way to experience the thrills of the season than a little skin in the game. When you bet with MyBookie, you're not just watching the games. You're investing in every moment of the action. I'll say from experience, a few bucks on the line can turn any regular game into a highlight of the season. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that the average college football game runs about 180 plays? Every catch, sack, and touchdown is another way to hit pay dirt using MyBookie. Get in now and use the promo code BELIEVE to claim a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. That is promo code BELIEVE to start the football season off playing with house money. The best part is MyBookie will keep you coming back for more with tons of exclusive lines, free bets, and access to VIP contests. I mean, that is unbelievable. All you got to do is make your first deposit and claim a bonus of up to $1,000 when you go to mybookie.com and you use the promo code BELIEVE. Anyway, we were talking about work there.
Yeah.
And I saw this, and this is something that my wife and I talk about quite a lot. Harrington, number 5, Amazon have shifted their policy and are now demanding that all corporate employees need to make it into the office 5 days a week. Herringbone, I said your name. That was like to summon you while I read the headline. And then as I summon, you come on and then you give a little more context.
Yeah, I don't know what more context I'm going to.
We've only done the show for 10 years. We've only done it for 10 years. And that's why everyone says, Bisping's so mean to him in the comments. It's like, I'm inviting you.
Yeah, like I said, I just don't know how much more I'm going to add to this. Amazon said, this hybrid work schedule isn't going to work anymore. The work from home has to stop. If you are a corporate employee with Amazon, you are reporting to your desk 5 days a week because Jeff Bezos gets production no matter what.
Well, I'll let you have the first take, Paul, but I'm all for it. I ain't siding with the big corporations. I ain't siding with those dickheads. But I think this is what the entire world should be going back to normality.
Yeah. I think that it is time for us to move on from pandemic life and accept that things get done better when you have to go into work, especially depending on your job, right? I mean, there are certain things that you can do from home. There are certain things that aren't really going to be an issue, but I feel like they're talking about corporate people that need to be meetings, need to get things done, need to actually be focused on getting stuff done. Man, let's get back to where we were before, and also realizing that you got to, that's part of life, that we've got to do stuff and we've got to work and we've got to go out in the world. We can't just sit in our goddamn house and be on the internet, be on our computers. Like the next generation and the kids coming up are so used to all that to begin with. If we just start saying, oh yeah, you can do everything from the computer at home, that's just a slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope, not just about production. I couldn't care less about that, about Jeff Bezos. Amazon are taking over the world, and it's far, far, far too much. I see them getting involved in so many things. They're getting involved in healthcare now and all the rest of it. Like, just stop it. So that isn't what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that, to your point, I agree with all that. But like young people, you got to go out there. You got to see the world. You got to interact with people. You got to leave your house. You got to breathe fresh air. Just learn social skills. Contribute to the economy.
Get on the subway, man.
Get on the subway. See people. Meet people. Get your steps in. Just go into the local deli and grab a sandwich. Contribute to the economy as opposed to sitting in your goddamn four walls all day. Number one, you're not doing as good a job. 2, it's terrible for your mental health, your physical health. I understand the convenience. I understand the convenience of it 100%, but we do need to get back to bloody normal. Maybe single mothers and stuff like that could have an exception, but you can't do it forever.
I think of course there's always an exception to the rule for certain people. And if you're ill and you're doing this, then work from home. But if all things are well, man, get up, go in the office, get out in the sun, put your damn clothes on. Put your suit on. Suit up.
Yes.
Go look good. Get a haircut.
Because I'll tell you this.
Cut your hair, kids.
Geez, have a shave.
Well,
have a shower.
can't say much
Have a
about
shower. Well,
Have
yeah,
a shower for sure.
Yeah. No, sometimes I'm sitting here in my underpants. I'm not today because I've got a couple of appointments later and I've got to go get a new eyepiece. We're trying it out again. I've got to go get a new eyepiece. So I've got pants on. Let's go.
Wow,
but a lot of the time, I'm in the undies because I don't need to be. Speaking of eyepieces, you see what Tesla, sorry, not Tesla, Elon Musk is up to? Harrington, jump on. Well, he's been talking about this Neuralink thing for a while.
Yeah, I
this
was
is
reading
exciting for
something
me.
about it. What you guys said.
Herringbone.
So part of his Neuralink company, he has this this new piece of technology that apparently it can process the images that are being seen that are being seen and send it directly to the brain, bypassing any kind of damaged optic nerves or any organic matter that typically translates that to the brain. Elon said the goal here is that for people, even if they were never able to see, if they were born blind, this new technology should be able to give them sight. It got FDA approval, so they're able to go down the line and continue to test it, and try it out on people.
Holy crap.
Let me see that. Look at, holy crap is right. Incredible. I will say this, just because the FDA allow it doesn't mean shit.
Mean it's safe.
I put no weight in the FDA approval at all because
that's
the
wild,
food and drugs that they allow are not good for you. Let's just say that. But it's unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. I'm coming back.
Could you imagine? I just couldn't imagine what it would be like for somebody that has never seen ever. And then getting that, and suddenly your brain is processing the images as it's seen. I mean, that I'd like to see the reaction videos of when that gets up and running and is more successful for blind people who haven't ever seen, being able to see those.
You see those videos. You must have seen them on Instagram where
little kids
them,
and the earpiece to the glass
for the first time. And they've been deaf their whole life, and then with the advancements in hearing aids and whatnot, and then
they hear their parents'
voice the first time, and they start crying and everything. I mean, it's beautiful to see. But vision's the next level. That's why I retired. We were talking about knockouts when I got sparked out against Kelvin Gastelum of all people, which shows I was done in this sport. Shouldn't have been there. I just lost 2 weeks before that. I've always got to say that. I've always got to get that in there. Yeah, but obviously I had the one eye, and then at the after party I was having issues with my good eye, and and it was definitely the symptoms of retinal detachment in my good eye. And I was in a nightclub and I started crying, and I wasn't crying, but I was trying to not cry. I went to the bathroom because I wasn't making a big thing of it. I was trying to compose myself, and all I kept thinking is, I'm going blind. Yeah. I'm going blind. And I thought, I got to get out of it. So I left and went back to my hotel room. After that, the boys came to follow me because they were like, where is he? Where is he? Oh, he must have come back to the hotel. So they all came back. Then we got absolutely destroyed, right? Forgot all about it.
Yeah.
Came to on an aeroplane flying back out of Hong Kong. And I was like, oh, how did I even get here? And then the symptoms started again. I was like, oh shit, I've forgotten all about that. That's why I ended up so drunk in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's
scary,
amazing.
Man. Scary. I have never come close to having as severe the eye problems, but I was seeing double vision from like breaks that I've had in the right eye. And the one eye doctor out in Vegas that the UFC got for me, he was like, listen, you can continue to push it and you may end up having permanent like double vision in that eye, or it might be okay. And it might work itself out. And I obviously retired and haven't fought since, and it worked itself out. But it was getting to a point where I was thinking to you, I was like, man, that right eye, if it gets hit with a few good more left hooks, and might be not seeing any of those left hooks anymore.
Well, I didn't see a few of them anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I had Belal on recently, and Belal said that he had a retinal detachment. I had no idea. Obviously got it taken care of, done properly. Anyway, All right. Should we get a story from Harrington in the world of mixed martial arts? Harrington, what is going on? Tee us up. Give us a story, please.
I think this has to be, the probably the biggest story to me. Aljamain Sterling seems to be out of his bout with Movsar Evloev. If you remember, Movsar, undefeated in the UFC, was trying to use this as a real case to make a push for the, for a featherweight title shot. A bunch of guys have hopped in. I know that Movsar called out Diego Lopes. Diego said, absolutely not. You had your shot a few months ago. You missed it. I'm not taking this fight on 2 weeks' notice. One guy who did step up, though, Gene Silva from the Fighting Nerds, and it seems like he's the only one who's willing to, who's been very vocal about wanting to take this fight on like 2 weeks' notice.
Well, I guess, and well done, Hamilton. That ties in with the whole injury and depressing theme of the show. Speaking of injuries, Aljamain Sterling's out. That is a shame. Him versus Movsar Evloev was a good fight.
Yeah.
He's doing the right thing. He's doing the right thing. He lost his belt. He came back. He beat Kelvin Cater. If you hurt yourself, if you get injured,
nothing you can do, man. And especially against that kid, Evloev, I'm not wanting to fight that kid remotely injured at all, and Aljamain has everything to lose in that situation. So I think it's, you got to do what you got to do. Even if it means you got to sit back and fight a lower ranked guy moving forward, better to do that healthy and sit out now.
I was trying to text Rebecca, but I'm just going to do it old school. Rebecca, I'm actually sweating. Got to turn this heat down, baby. I don't think she heard a goddamn thing.
What's the weather like? What's the weather like there?
It's not too hot now. It's cooled right down. What is it today? Hold on. 72.
Perfect.
Yeah. No, it is nice.
Perfect. It's still 80 here.
Oh, very good, very good.
Yeah.
Paris, when we go to Paris next week, Paul, I don't think, bring a coat.
I know. I was just actually going to look that up, what Paris will be. I would think on the colder side, right?
Yeah,
mild, I should say.
Well, let's have a look here right now. This is fantastic podcasting. Can't find it. We're not spending too much time on it. But
we're
just
in the 60s, baby.
Nah, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. I'm there though. I'm staying with the missus afterwards. We're staying till like October 5th. We're in October. We're almost in winter. It's going to be cold as hell. Right, so 307. That is just around the corner. I had no idea. Pereira, Khalil, Rountree Jr.
Yes.
What do you think about that fight,
Man, Paul? I think that is a fight that people are going to sleep on what Rountree can do in this fight. He's a scary, dangerous guy with absolute crazy knockout power who throws just some wild strikes, man. Good leg kicks. I'm not saying he's gonna necessarily win, but my God, I think he's got a damn good shot of upsetting the world in that one.
Yeah, without question, because he's on a 5-fight win streak, 4 of those by knockout. Granted, the level of opponent hasn't been what Pereira's been facing. He's the champion. I'm just trying to see. So he did get knocked out against Iwan Kutalaba, and he did get knocked out against Johnny Walker with that elbow from the clinch.
Yeah.
Right? The reason I was looking that up is because you got to be able to take a shot if you're going up against Alex Pereira. That's first and foremost. Now, granted, elbows are a little different, and the elbows, I think they might have been on the ground versus Kutalaba. But I'm telling you, I think everyone's overlooking Khalil Rountree in this fight, and I think he's going to go out there.
He's got to go crazy.
What do you think?
I think from the beginning.
What do you think?
I think that he's got to try to, because of he's been finished. Both guys have been finished. I really think it's going to just be who can get something first that can damage, right? Who can go out? I think it's going to be over quick, honestly, with the two of these guys, the way that they hit each other. And I think even for Alex, he can't let him just come and start throwing those shots. He's got to do something to keep him away for a little bit. I think it would be smart for Alex to chip at that calf and hurt him to the legs early and then start to look for that, nasty left hook and everything else that he can do. But for Rountree, just get after him, man. Don't let him settle and get into a groove.
And that's a really good point, because for Rountree, this sounds disrespectful and it's not supposed to be at all. He was kind of like the forgotten guy. Nobody was bringing up the name Khalil Rountree, and now here he is all of a sudden, he's getting a title fight. So to your point, go for it. Because guess what? If you don't go for it, you're going to allow Alex to get into a groove. And once he gets
100%.
into a groove, you're gonna get wiped out, right? Go forward, put him under pressure, put him on the back foot, believe in your abilities, believe in your kickboxing, your momentum, the streak that you have. I'm telling you, I think Khalil Rountree, it would not surprise me if he went out there and shocked the world.
Yeah.
It's a good card, though.
It's good. Yeah, good card. I was just looking at it too.
Yeah, Pena and Pennington for the bantamweight belt. Thompson versus Buckley. That's a good one.
Wow,
Buckley's been talking a bit of shit. Jose Aldo, he's back again.
Buckley's he's always talking a bit of shit, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he does. I like him though. I think he's great. I don't mind a bit of shit talk.
No.
Who else we got? Delidze and Kevin Holland. It's like a platform for Anthony Smith's past opponents.
I know.
We got Khalil and Roman both on the same card. Don't ESPN, don't have Anthony work that desk. My God.
Yeah.
Don't you hate it when you got to
and he probably is too, because I mean,
guarantee
it's a pay-per-view. It's definitely Anthony that's working that one.
Do me a favor, Anthony, just break this down. It's like,
Can you tell us how these guys? By the way, we're gonna have some clips up here. It's you.
Yeah.
It's you. But you know Anthony. He's so I've had so many beers with him where he's just like, whatever.
Yeah, no, exactly, and that's why I feel like I can say this, because he's got a sense of humor and he doesn't care.
Best sense of humor. Yeah, I've been the highlight of talking guys. Is that what you're going to bring up? Have you ever had?
No, I was going to say I've had the UFC say to me multiple times when I've been commentating or whatever. They'll go, just so you know, you're in this highlight getting knocked out. Do you mind? I'm like, no, I don't mind. It's part of history.
Yeah,
like we can't erase it from people's memories. I don't want to never show that clip.
It looks worse if you're shy. It's like, man, I went in there, I went for it, and it didn't pan out that night. Like we all, like we talked about with Aldana, like we all know going in there that we could be a highlight. Like that's what it sucks. And sometimes, and I've had to do it where they said the same thing to me. I think it was an Edson clip, and it's him like kicking me 17 times. And I'm like, yeah, I was there. I got kicked. You can show it. It's not a problem.
Can you play number 7? I believe it's a video that we're looking at of Belal.
And then after it, Khabib would be like, get in the cage with him. And whenever you go with him, it's just like it's kind of like embarrassing. It's not even like humbling, because he just kills you. And it's to the point where like he's on top of me and he's about to give me a Kimura, and he's like ordering coffee to his boy outside of the cage. And and I'm looking at myself like, bro, I'm going to be fighting for a title soon. And this guy's like ordering drinks as he's like, but it makes you think that it keeps me in that mindset of I still have a lot to learn, right? I have still a lot
Brian. So that's Belal there talking about training with Khabib, who was a lightweight. Belal is currently the welterweight champion of the world, and it'd been so embarrassing grappling with him.
He told me
because he's ordering coffees mid grapple.
He would also say like you'd get done a round and the round would ring. Like the bell would go off, and he was like, I was in the cage with Khabib, and he'd be like, okay, like I'm waiting for him to let me up, and he's like, the round's not over, you're still on your back, like you got to get up. And obviously that's, as you can hear there, not easy to do when you're facing Khabib, who's also just huge right now, I'm sure. And Belal would be like, it could be an extra round or so before you actually got to a position where he'd let the round kind of just end, and the guy's doing that and ordering coffees at the same time.
So you're saying that when the round ends, he's like, no.
Yeah, like a couple times. Yeah, a couple times he'd be doing extra work with Khabib afterwards to work on stuff, and the round would end, and Belal would kind of relax, thinking he was going to, take a break, and then they'd start over, and he would make him continue to work until he got out of that position.
What if you just say, I can't?
No. Yeah,
I can't. We're going to be led here for a long time, Khabib.
Yeah, Khabib, you're going to need an extra coffee that you might want to order too. Because if I'm the one there, I'm probably never getting up.
Do you not think I've been trying?
Yeah.
Do you not think I've tried to get up? No, Khabib sounds like a great coach. Everyone speaks so highly of him.
Oh, yeah. It sounds like misery sessions, though, for sure.
No, it really does.
Unless you're DC, apparently, because I have a video here of him just laughing at Khabib on top of him.
Look at this, brother. You get off me, man.
Get off me, man.
Nothing. This is nothing.
This is nothing. Let's see what DC does here. Does he get up though?
Baby offense.
Doubtful.
This is baby offense. No, it's Bravo.
Yeah, but the thing is, DC is very barrel-esque.
Yes.
All DC needs to do
Turn.
is roll.
Yeah.
Roll.
And he's
he'll
out.
end up on top. The man is circular. You know, you just gotta, you're on my back. Whoa, now I'm on top of you.
Yeah. It's only getting more circular. DC, stop golfing. Start running. Come on.
Harrington, give us a non-MMA story. What have we got here? Oh, let's do this. This is crazy. Number 2. Give us number 2.
Is this the school?
Yeah.
Yes.
So keep the people in suspense. Paul Felder,
Sorry,
my God,
sorry.
you're messing with the show, bro.
I don't have enough practice.
Harrington's had 10 years and he still gets it wrong, so you're fine.
How did I get this wrong? I know exactly what I'm talking about. A private school in London charges people $35,000 a year. One of the classes at this school is going to be, for this next semester, completely AI. Right? There's going to be no teachers in the classroom. AI is going to develop a lesson plan for each individual student, give them, like, as they're getting work done throughout the semester, the AI is going to, like, move with them, give them new tasks and new things, like, for each individual student in the class. But yeah, $35,000 a year to have a computer teach you.
Okay.
Thoughts, Paul?
Okay.
Thoughts?
So the last 2 days, Terminator 2 Judgment Day has been on the television. Now, why is that been playing more than I remember it playing recently? And AI happens to be. We have basically made these scenarios. And you know what I thought was interesting? Okay. I did some math yesterday, believe it or not. And I'm not very good at math. But I was like, okay, Terminator 2 came out, I think, in 1991. And John Connors was sent, or the Terminators were sent back from 35 years or 36 years, something like that, in the future. And it ended up being 2025 or 2026 was the year that they're coming back from, bro.
Exactly. It's like, listen, the whole Terminator thing, we could talk about that for days, because you're right. It is becoming a reality. It's crazy because movies do have a crazy way of getting a lot of this stuff, right? Because what's that? 2001: A Space Odyssey. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, a long time ago. But that's a classic. It's a classic.
It's that dun, 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 bum, 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 bum.
Yep.
You know, that classic piece of music. I love it. In that, and that was a film, I'm going to say 1969 or something like that. Yeah. That's about AI on the ship that takes control and kills them. How did they know about that in whatever year 2001 Space Odyssey came out? Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's kind of crazy.
Look, even Will Smith's, what is it, iRobot or whatever. Well, these drones and these AI-driven robots that are in charge of just simple tasks start to develop personalities, and some of those personalities tend to, and some of these AIs, they're asking them questions and they're saying shit that's just kind of scary, and yet here we are going, well, let's just advance it. Let's make
1968 Space Odyssey was, and check it out, everyone. It's a slow burn, slow burn, but it's an interesting film. We actually talked about some of the robot stuff on here recently, and there was a guy, there was like a robot, and we thought that's just a dude in a suit. And he came back since it wasn't a dude in a suit. But anyway, getting back to the original point, right? A school in London, it was private school in London, charging $35,000 a year to attend classes entirely taught by AI, right? I understand the pros of that will be, well, it's going to be taught very efficiently. The information is going to be correct and this and that. That isn't just what school's about. What if you're a troubled kid? What if you don't understand the way it's being spoken to you? That's why you need a human being there to break it down, to relate to the kid, to give them encouragement, to mentor them, to maybe take them under the wing, to maybe give them some shit if they need to, if they're not towing the line. You know, everybody is different. We're all individuals and we learn different ways and respond to different things. AI robots in there do not have the ability to do that. When you go to school, I still remember to this day teachers that were nice to me, that took me under the wing and and they weren't necessarily that nice. They just weren't complete dickheads, but I could tell that they meant well.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget the dickheads either.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I did Catholic school coming up and then all boys for 2 years, Catholic school, high school. So I definitely had some absolute scumbags that were my teachers over the years. And yeah, I agree that like, come on, if I'm a parent and I'm spending all that money, and I guess the other argument is, like you said earlier, that it's like, well, this is even better than us putting, but I disagree. I think this is where we're kind of going down the wrong path with this stuff, where we're letting AI kind of do all the work. If it does all the work, what if things eventually, I'm not even saying go dangerously wrong. They don't have to go Judgment Day movie style or Space Odyssey wrong for it to just shut down or stops working or isn't efficient anymore. And then what? There's no school because the program isn't working anymore.
Yeah, there was a lot of pushback about AI when it first started to become more prevalent. A lot of pushback, but there is a lot of incredible things that are happening because of it. Like they can detect cancerous cells or potentially cancerous cells way long before they even become actual cancerous cells, and they can eliminate them from the body. So I've been told. So I've seen on social media.
I've heard that stuff, and I agree. I think that's where if I don't know enough to really sit here and give a critical breakdown on how I think it should be utilized. But I'm in agreement that if there's technology going that way for medical purpose, for advancing just the health and well-being of society, let's do that. Let's do a little bit less of making them exactly be able to sound, look, and recreate human life and personality and things that can be deceiving and used as political tactics, as things that can be used to scam, as things that can be criminalized. Like, that's where I'm worried about it going down that path, more so than, hey, if we can use it for medicine and detecting things and advancing science, let's start going down that way and a little less faking voices and such.
Yeah, the faking of the voices and all the rest. It's crazy. In fact, never mind. I'm not going to get into it. I was going to tell you something or show you something. There was a lot of pushback from the acting world, of course. Yeah. And my daughter, I'm my wife's over there, but whatever. She's an aspiring actress. She goes to she goes to film school, good college. She goes up to LA 2-3 times a week. She's really, really dedicated and applying herself. She got a gig, not a gig for a commercial. She got a commercial, but it was a commercial for AI.
Yeah.
Her first paid gig that she got with this new agent, or her first ever agent. And she turned it down. She turned it down because she's against AI. And I lost my shit. It was last year when I was in Paris. I'm like, what are you talking? You turned it down? Callum at the time was flipping burgers in San Francisco. I said, Callum's flipping burgers for minimum wage in San Francisco, and you've just got paid a decent little payday to go in for a day's filming for an AI project, and you turned it down. I said, oh my God, what is going on with you? She said, no, but it's not fair on the actors and the writers. And all. I'm like, who gives a about the other writers and the actors in the industry? You've got to take care of yourself. They don't even know you exist right now.
Yeah.
It blew my mind.
Let's see if that same gig would be turned down after several years in LA, post school, haven't gotten a gig yet. It's like, all right, sign me up. Sign me up.
Exactly.
Oh, man, commercial works, that's like free money to actors. It's like, oh, I got to show up for a day, it could be anywhere from 1,000 to thousands, you know what I mean? Or more than that, depending on the company. Not that much.
It was a good little payday. It was a good little payday. It was good.
Anyway, can be nice chunks of money for not a lot of work.
What do you think about Terminator 2 in the whole Terminator spectrum?
That's
Terminator
my favorite.
2 is probably the best.
Hands down. That's the best one, man. I mean, liquid metal, you know what I mean?
Did you cry
Arnold,
when Arnold goes into the molten lava in 1991?
I was
Did
upset.
you cry?
I was upset. I don't remember if I cried, but I mean, I had the action figures. Like I had the Terminator toys and stuff when I was a kid. I love that movie. As a matter of fact, my 9-year-old was watching. It was on TV, so a lot of the super inappropriate language and stuff was kind of cut out.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she's like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
I was like, "This is Terminator, babe." Like you're at an age where pretty soon I'm going to be like, we need to prep you for the future because it's coming.
Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. Speaking of inappropriate, who is the most inappropriate person that's making the news right now?
Oh, Diddy?
Harrington, lay the law. This is insane because, like we've heard, I mean, this guy is the biggest piece of shit. We saw the video a few months ago where he beat the crap out of his girlfriend, like proper head kicking her and stamping on her head and all the rest of it. And we heard all the accusations and all the rest of it. And he was on the run and he was here and he was there. That was weird. But they were just compiling their case. Now he's been arrested.
Oh, yeah.
He's been denied bail, even though he offered $50 million. He's been denied bail. There's all kinds of madness come out. They found, go on, Harrington. I'll let you say. This is Harrington's world.
So it's sure. It's they found the court documents were released this week, right? For all the stuff that they found at his place when they raided it. There was over 1,000 bottles of lube and baby oil and almost 800 dildos and other sex toys found at his place.
800 dildos. What? I mean, how do you even amass such a supply?
Yeah.
The CIA, essentially. He's been working for the government to get dirt on like celebrities and shit to keep them under control.
Oh, when you said the CIA, I thought you meant he's getting dildos shipped in by the CIA.
Yeah, no, I am. That is exactly what I mean. I believe all the money, all the toys, all the tools, all that comes from the CIA.
So do you think it's all a show then for him being, quote, locked up and getting all this? Is it, or like, how does that work? Like, let's say he is an informant, right? He's been, which I agree that he's been working for somebody to try to do this stuff, but where does it, like, what does he get out of it? Or did he get everything out of it? Now they're just coming to roost because he got too far ahead of himself. Do you know what I mean? Like, how does that work? Well, what's the deal he gets?
Well, we'll let Brian explain in a minute. For anyone that hasn't been following this story, and I haven't been following it, it's just the last week or so. If you go on social media, it's everywhere. There was all these accusations, and I've seen videos of bodyguards saying, listen, they were aware at the time. They had recordings of people, that going on. You got the bottles of lube. I've seen the pictures. They weren't small bottles of lube either. We're talking like value packs from Costco. Do you know what I mean? 800 dildos. Accusations galore. People getting drugged. There was a security guard said, I never drank. Yeah. I only smoked weed. And he was spiking all the drinks and stuff like that. People didn't know what they were doing. They were getting all kinds of dirt on him and all kinds of stuff. And then it comes down to this. I mean, what an absolute piece of shit. I mean, that video when he was beating his wife up, girlfriend up, that was enough for me anyway. Yeah. But then to see this shit as well, I mean, it's just unreal. Brian, you put in the chat here that you have a theory on this all. I mean.
So I'm just saying, if I was in charge of the world, this is how I would be creating distractions. So I have a theory on all this, no proof or incidents here, but when you get super famous, like in charge of the world kind of famous, like Diddy or LeBron or like any of these like universal celebrities, you get a straw essentially, right? And when the powers that be need a distraction, somebody's straw gets pulled.
Somebody's getting the short straw on that
because
one.
we need a distraction. So one of our universally global celebrities needs to get in trouble
down
to keep the attention off of us. That's what I.
Yeah. Well. I think that's a good theory, Brian. I don't necessarily disagree. Well, I don't disagree. Not necessarily. Yeah. There was one recently. What was going on recently? There was something with Joe Biden. I think it was something to do with the debate. And then all of a sudden there was a wild scandal. Something crazy happened. And then everyone's attention is over there. You know, so the media do a really, really good job at doing that. I don't know if I don't know if it's quite as intricate as what Brian thinks, but you never know. You think the CIA are literally going, okay, give this guy a pass. Give this guy a pass. Give this guy a pass. He's okay. We'll take him down when we're ready.
Yeah. I do. I think that's crazy.
Would you have gone to a Diddy freak off?
No.
Don't lie.
No way.
Listen, I liked a bit of Puff Daddy back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, and he's stupid dancing.
I would have felt very stiff and out of place if I was at a Diddy freak party. So I don't think I ever would have been there to begin with. But thank God, because I drink, so I would have had a drink, and I might have ended up like old Meek Mills in that closet and just getting clapped down.
I get an invite as well, and I'm a bit late, like always. I walk in and Paul Felder's bent over.
You're just like, oh man, I better drink this drink, and then you're next, Michael. You're next.
Puff Daddy, no.
He did. He's like, don't worry, I got 800 more bottles of this lube, Michael Bisping. Come on over here, Stamp.
He's done. He's dusted. He did make some decent music.
Yeah,
he is probably responsible for Tupac being dead.
I see, dude, and that's
Biggie's death, probably.
It goes even deeper. Yeah, I mean, now that these guys know that he's getting taken down, like they're coming out and they're talking like he was, of all people, I would have never thought that Diddy was like the most savage one of all of them. And that's what people are saying. Like he was the most psycho of all of these guys that to come out of the last few generations of like hip hop and rap and all that. You never know. Sometimes
the informant stuff makes so much sense. Do you know what I mean? Because that's how the absolute true scumbags.
That's how they get to the top. That's how they get to the top.
And that's how they get a free reign to operate however they want.
Yeah, because you've got street cred, so they want that. Like they want that in. They want to have dirt on all those guys. And then they give you all the means, and you're a celebrity, you're a star, you're gonna have parties, and then you're gonna get more dirt, and you get to live your life crazy. And you know, but like we were talking about, when it comes time for them to be like, oh yeah, we don't know who you are. Okay, see you later. You're locked up.
Revoke the straw. We're going to give you he was never my friend treatment.
Yes.
It's like, no, bro. No get out of jail card this time. Harrington, you popped on the screen. What were you going to say, buddy?
Well, I was going to say it's worth noting, they weren't even supposed to arrest him. He had like a date to turn himself in. I think it was for the end of the week. Then all of a sudden, all this news about, what's going on in other parts of the world starts to dominate the news cycle. And it's like, hey, why don't we throw the cuffs on Diddy a couple days early, get these court documents unsealed and get that stuff out of the news.
Yeah. Speaking of news and speaking of dildos, speaking of news and speaking of dildos, let's get back to MMA.
Yeah.
Dillon, the dildo Danis.
Oh, boy.
Do you know what? I've met Dillon now. I didn't like him. I still don't even know him. I met him one time. I had one interaction. He was all right. He talked a lot of shit online. I thought this guy's a prick. Yeah. Whatever. Right. I met him once. We had a laugh. We shot a little pretend video where he came over and pushed me. It was staged, but it made him look good, made me look terrible. But he's all right. But anyway, the story. He was, let's be honest, he was going after Logan Paul's girlfriend pretty harshly on social media for a long, long time. In fact, Harrington, you tell the story, please. Pick it up, because I don't even want to, be the news reporting guy. He was going after her for a long time to get at Logan Paul, to try and get a fight, to piss him off and all the rest of it. And she sued him. Harrington.
Well, it was also made pretty public around that time when that happened that the Nina was going to sue him for defamation of character, all these things that he was saying about him. They in the build up to the fight, you remember the process server coming and finding him, handing him the court papers, et cetera, et cetera. So the fight's been over for about a year now. This lawsuit still ongoing, and Dillon apparently has not been paying his defense lawyers. Like, it's a chronic issue with him. He's missing payments to them. So they've decided to stop representing him, which means Dillon Danis might have to fight this legal battle representing himself.
Well, that's not surprising because, number one, let me tell you, no lawyers are your friends. They don't care, because I read a statement from this lawyer. Like, I actually like Dillon as a guy as well, so this is a shame. No, the only shame is that you're not getting the paychecks. And when the paycheck stops coming, you're like, see ya. Yeah. See you, buddy. You're down the road. I don't care about you. They just care about themselves. And this is why the legal system is so effed up. Right? Granted, what Dillon did, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have gone after someone's girlfriend like that. And who knows? I'm not getting into the whole, is she right? Is he wrong? And all the rest of it. But he's down a creek without a paddle. Up a creek? Up a creek.
Yeah, you don't want to be, man, especially she's going to come at you with the best lawyers. They're going to be paid. Their pockets are full. They're coming for you. And if you don't have the right guys to back you up, you're just going to end up getting slaughtered. And he's dumb. He's dumb. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to say all the wrong things. Your cocky, bravado, fake, tough guy act that doesn't mean anything in court.
Jiu-jitsu is not going to help you in court.
Yeah,
far from it.
Your black belt doesn't help.
Look, listen,
It didn't help him against the bouncer.
No, it didn't. It didn't help him.
Yeah, it didn't help him against the bouncer. Yeah.
He got choked out by a chocolatier. That's exactly what happened. There's a lot of overstepping of boundaries, or a lot of overstepping of authority, should I say, from people posting stuff and, hey, you can't say that, you can't say this, and freedom of speech. There's all this stuff going on. What Dillon was doing was going after this girl over and over and over again. I don't know where he got the pictures. You could argue that what's in the public domain, all he did was repost it. Right? Yeah. I don't know who's right. I don't know who's wrong. But the reality is, when you play these games and you start talking about lawsuits, you got to understand that these are real problems. And it's not a criminal court; it's a civil court, and the civil courts will you even more than the criminal court sometimes, because they're coming for one thing only, and that's money.
And
criminal court,
they can manipulate things, and it's not just the letter of the law and the crime that you committed. It's kind of personal and attacks and what did you do to their career, and it gets muddy and ugly. And if you don't have the right people backing you to support your freedoms and things like that, they'll make it seem like you did things that maybe you put, you know what I mean? You can't. I
couldn't sleep at night, and everyone's laughing at me, and my career's in the toilet, and I wake up in the middle of the night in cold sweats and shaking, and I'm not eating, and you can't disprove it. Yeah. And you have to defend this crap. You have to defend it in a court of law. That's why the legal system is so up. I hate it. I hate the civil legal system is messed up, because anyone can sue somebody on a completely bogus case, and you have to defend it. Otherwise, they will be awarded the judgment if you don't defend. That's why Dillon is in a really, really bad situation. And as someone that's been through these bullshit lawsuits, I do sympathize with him. I don't agree, maybe he went too far, whatever. I do sympathize with him in that regard. I really do, because what's going to happen is, if he can't defend it, whatever judgment she's seeking, I think it's 150,000 for every post that he did. And there was about 50, it's going to come into millions and millions of dollars. Yeah. And it's one thing suing someone, it's another one collecting. But that's going to follow him around for years and years and years. And any money that he earns, they're going to want their piece of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what they'll do. They'll just garnish any wages that you get for the rest of time if you lose something like that. Yeah. And if you go and make some big money someday doing something, and it's like, okay, thanks.
Dillon Danis needs to fight in Poland. They can't get shit there.
Yeah.
He needs to fight in Poland.
Just stay there too while you're at it.
Yeah, it might not be a bad idea.
So I don't know if you guys want to talk about this. This is a new one. O'Malley just recently, since we started recording, is talking about how he won the fight.
He's defending his title against Umar, and in January.
Yeah, he said I won 1, 3, and 5.
I like
Is
that
he
he.
serious though?
Oh no,
Probably not.
No,
he's
he-
playing up on the fact that he was still. Remember he was like, I'm still undefeated against.
Yeah.
He did put out a tweet right after the fight, and he goes, "Well, I guess I'm not undefeated anymore."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And
no, he
then-
did. He did.
And
He's
then he
fucking
goes,
around.
"Oh no, the commission took a look, and I won rounds 1, 3, and 5."
But he had a torn labrum.
Yep.
He's
He
saying.
says he's out for a year.
I thought that was really long.
Oh yeah,
for
we didn't
a
talk
torn
about that
labrum.
at all.
No, I've got a torn labrum as well.
I've got
at the
torn.
moment.
I made I commented on the one doctor from Florida who's like an orthopedic doctor. He's always commenting on MMA injuries, and he commented on, I think it might have been Luke Thomas talked about that too. That, oh man, he had a torn labrum, and when it might have been along the same lines of Aldana needing it. Oh no, he was saying how are these guys passing physicals and being able to fight? I can't imagine it's easy to fight with a torn labrum. I commented, I think I've had a torn labrum my entire UFC career.
I've had a torn labrum for, partially torn labrum for about the last
exactly
2 years,
Yeah.
and I'm going to get it sorted. It'll be a surgery eventually, but it's livable. I can do with it, deal with it. Sean O'Malley and all fighters. I mean, most fighters go into fights injured and they don't tell, people say, well, how did they pass medicals? Because we lie.
They're not x-raying us. Yeah. They're not MRIing you just to, and this doctor, I'm going to forget his name, but yeah, he made a post saying like none of these, and he works with a lot of fighters that come in for injuries and things like that. So he knows like we're all injured. Nobody's going in. You don't do an 8 to 10 week training camp of sparring 2 to 3 times a week, wrestling every week, hitting pads, lifting, running. You're going to have injuries. You think football players in the NFL are going into every Sunday without a torn ham, a little torn in their hamstring, a little torn in their labrum, some broken fingers? Like, you just don't go to the doctor and go, yeah, I got a torn labrum, but I'm good.
No.
Like, you just say, yeah, I'm fine. And then afterwards, you get it dealt with. I mean, it's
For people that don't know, we get eyes once a year, overall medical once a year, then leading up to a blood work once a year, and then leading up to a fight, you have to have a physical, and then you have a pre-fight physical, which is basically do some body weight squats, show that
touch
you
your
can
toes.
do that. Touch your toes, stuff like that. And even I remember like having a bad knee. I ended up with knee replacements going, in my mind, I'm like, oh, that really hurts.
Yeah.
That really hurts. But you don't say anything at the time. You keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm not shitting on Sean O'Malley necessarily, but that's why when you come out afterwards and say, well, I had, my foot was a balloon. It's like, most of my body's been a balloon at some point, and that's why the fans don't really take that stuff too well, because most of us do go into it injured. O'Malley did come out and said that he's going to be away from now for about 12 months.
Yeah.
Because he's having surgery, but I think also just take a little time away.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I think that he should. But I just, when I saw the torn labrum, I was like, okay, that sucks, but that happens whether it's your shoulder or your hips. I mean, when we're doing all these kicks, for me, that's what destroyed my hips, was the amount of rotation that I'm putting on roundhouses all the time, and sprawling, right? And guys are, single legs, you're getting lifted up over your head. And for shoulders, obviously, anytime that we're stretched out on a takedown, dude, your shoulders are getting crunched constantly when we're working on wrestling. So you're never 100%. But I was surprised for 12 months. I wonder if it is just him like, okay, I'm going to really make sure I take some time. I also think it's maybe him wanting to go, okay, I'm going to go into the gym once I'm healed, and I want to work and get a little better. Because there's clearly now with Umar around, Marab around, these guys that, he's going to have to face these strong wrestlers coming back. They're going to want to know how he handles those tests. I think for Sean, man, just go bananas with working on your wrestling defense and your scrambling ability again, and get scrappy again.
Well, sadly, that's what he's going to have to do, because it's a murderer's row now. I mean, Umar, Sandhagen, Figueiredo, Piotr Jan. He beat Piotr Jan, but it's going to be wrestle heavy all the time. And it should be anyway when you're fighting Sean O'Malley. It's funny because I was thinking about this yesterday, because you're right, the shoulders, the hips, everything, my neck, the lot. When I first started doing MMA, my original coach back in the day, he had a very kind of scientific and supplement heavy approach. And when I say supplements, I'm talking protein powders and L-glutamine and stuff.
Not the good stuff.
I'm not talking Brazilian doctors.
Yeah.
And one of the big things, and he was telling me to take glucosamine every day. And I was like, you don't feel any effects from it? I wish now, and I sound like such an old bastard, I'm taking glucosamine twice a day because it helps with the collagen and helps stops the arthritis. But when I was 24, I was like, I don't need to take this shit.
Yep.
Any young fighters out there, you've got to take these supplements, these fish oils, the glucosamine, and all the rest of it, because guess what? One day you'll be in our position wishing that you had.
Oh my God, you couldn't be more right, man. I'm the same exact way, and I say the same thing every day. I'll be walking around upstairs, or I get up first thing in the morning, and I'm like walking down the steps sideways, and I think about 25-year-old me who was just like show up at the gym, not even trying to warm up one bit, and now I'm just I'm destroyed. I've destroyed myself, and I didn't do those things, and now I'm trying to do them, and it's like, it's probably too late.
I'm destroyed, but I like it. I'm very healthy inside. Do I live in pain? I do. And you can all kiss my ass. Yeah, okay. I'll have a drink here and there. It helps me deal with the pain. It's a distraction, okay? Talking of fights, though, this weekend, Anthony Joshua. Are you a boxing fan, Paul? I mean, obviously the big ones.
I wouldn't say that I'm tuned in too much to everything that's going on, but especially if there's nothing on this weekend MMA wise, I would probably tune in.
Yeah,
who's
Anthony
he fighting?
Joshua, Daniel Dubois, English guy. He's really good, actually. He's really good. I know of Dubois. I mean, he was having a great career anyway. But I covered, I think it was the first Mike Tyson. Jake Paul versus, what was his name? Oh, Tyrone Woodley.
Yeah.
I covered that first fight for TN Sports. I went to the arena and Daniel Dubois was on the undercard. And I admit it was the first time I'd seen him fight. And I was like, holy shit, this kid is good. Now he's fighting Anthony Joshua this weekend. Them two had a face-to-face sit-down a while ago. They were, Anthony Joshua was getting pissed. Dubois was talking a little shit. Joshua was like,
I think I saw some of that in the aftermath of that.
They were close to getting out of the seats and having a go at each other and whatnot. So it should be a good fight. 60,000 people, I think, showing up for Anthony Joshua. I'll tell you what, Anthony Joshua, the way that he wiped out Francis Ngannou, and I mean that with respect to Ngannou, but there's no other way of putting it. It was ridiculous. So I'm excited for this fight. I might even do a little live stream for it. Jeez Louise, let's go.
Man, look at you. You're just, you're tuned into this, Michael. You're podcasting, you're live streaming. I need lessons. Next time in Paris, we need to sit down and I need to get up with my connection
3 kids
to the people.
3 kids in college, or to put through college. Callum, that's going back for his master's degree.
Yes,
Ellie's going to a fancy pants college. Callum's like, he's moved back now. He wants to get his master's degree. He's like, I might go to the same one as Ellie. I'm like, oh, no, you're not. Nah. You've already had 4 years. Yeah. So
you had your go, son. You've had your go. I'll be
live streaming to earn myself $50 so I can afford the heating. No, I enjoy it. If I've got nothing else going on, I probably will do that. Speaking of boxing, though, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world goes by the name Oleksandr Usyk. Defeated the Gypsy King Tyson Fury. Brian, roll the tape here, and then Harrington be ready with some facts afterwards. He was arrested at an airport in Poland this week.
So
it's not the best footage, that's about the gist of it, but you can see that it's Usyk. He's been arrested there, led away in handcuffs, which is kind of embarrassing for him. Harrington, what is the actual situation with that? What do we know? Because I'm none the wiser.
So he had a plane ticket for a flight from Krakow, Poland to Valencia, Spain. Apparently, when he showed up, they were like, yo, you are intoxicated. You're too drunk to be getting on this plane. He was like, absolutely not. I haven't been drinking. I haven't done anything. Apparently, they had driven like 650 miles from like war-torn Kyiv to Krakow to grab that flight to Spain. So he was just groggy from spending 13 hours or whatever it was in the car. before, and he was very out of it. There was a language barrier, obviously, him speaking Ukrainian, them speaking Polish. So all that led to like a big miscommunication. Apparently, Zelensky himself got on the phone with Poland shortly after this happened, explained the misunderstanding, and he was released. No harm, no foul.
Now, hold on a minute. Hold on, though, because that's insane. Talk about a massive overreach of power. All you got to do, and Usyk's a pretty chill guy. I don't know him. I've never met him, but I've seen Tyson Fury go after him and call him every name under the sun, and he seems very
handles
in control.
it pretty well.
Yeah, he's in control of his emotions. Unless the man's skitzing out and going mental and being psychotic at the airport, which I find very, very unlikely because of the points that I just said, because he is a public figure, and also he's at an airport in another country. Showing up for a flight and being a little intoxicated, if he was, that's not a crime. That's not an arrestable offense.
No, not arrestable. They can deny you the flight, but that's about it, right? I mean, there's no reason to be locking him up unless he was getting violent, which it doesn't sound like he was either. That's sounds a little shady.
I have boarded many a flight intoxicated.
Yeah,
they don't give a shit out here, or not the planes that I've boarded.
You know what? What they really don't care about is as long as you just show up, sit down, and get on with what's got to go on, you're fine. It's when you get on and you're hammered and you want to start fighting people on planes or like being inappropriate to like flight attendants, then you get kicked off. But man, if you go sit down, have another drink, get some food, pass the hell out, they don't give a shit what you did that day. Because I'm the same boat. You don't think I've gotten on a couple flights after fights where I'm just, flights delayed. You just want to fight. I'm at the airport lounge bar with my brother. Like, we're getting after it.
Perillo, all the boys.
If you're hanging out with Perillo, you're definitely getting after it.
You get to the airport, you've just had the fight, the camp's over, you're victorious, or you lost, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Then the plane gets delayed 6 hours. Yeah. What else are you going to do when you're with the guys and you're in an airport? You're going to drink, okay? Yeah. And you're not necessarily doing it for the purpose of getting hammered. You're celebrating, you're hanging out, it's a social event. The plane comes, you get on the plane, you fall asleep. You don't make a dick out of yourself, you know? I understand why they don't let you on, because sadly, some people are like that. Some people mess it up for everybody.
Got to ruin it for everybody. That's exactly what ruin it.
BJ Penn sent me a message recently. I don't even know if I should say this. BJ Penn, because on that time, I was a little drunk and I was messing with the steward a little bit. Fun and games, banter, BJ Penn said, I've just got on a flight, and the guy said, what are you doing? We got talking. He said, the only other time I met a UFC guy was a guy called Michael Bisping, and he was hammered on the flight. And I'm not going into the other details, but I was messing with him pretty hard. He said, do you remember this? I'm like, oh my God, I do. Yeah. It was all good. It wasn't, I think he asked me, he came up and tried to put my seatbelt on. I said, are you trying to touch my dick?
Oh, yeah.
I was just being silly, you know what I mean? So I accused him of harassment. I was joking. I was clearly joking. Harrington, what else have we got, buddy?
So from the oos to the moose, Alex Pereira, he's on the ground in Utah, as we said before earlier in the show. He is fighting, a pay-per-view main event in Utah later on, in a couple of weeks. So he's on the ground in Utah. He's already training, and he found himself a new friend in the wilderness.
Chama no chama. Não, filho. Não. Aqui tem. Vambora.
That's it. You said he went in the notes. He said he went head to head with a moose. I didn't know what to expect. I had images of. Have you seen that new Yuri Prohaska commercial where he's like pushing the sled and there's a bull on the other side? I thought I had something like that. He spotted a moose in the wild. That's great.
He's pretty close
amazing.
to that moose, though.
Yeah, the moose kill, I looked it up. Moose kill like 800 people a year. You're standing, from as close as I am to my cat right now. That's insane to me.
That's the first thing I thought. I was like, if that moose decides that he don't like you, you have nothing to do unless he's got his bow and arrow, his crossbow. I like Alex Pereira, but I'll tell you what, I'm taking that moose every day.
800 people a year are
It's
killed
crazy,
by
man.
It's 440 in the
Mooses.
U.S. on average, and so I would imagine that 800 sounds right for worldwide.
Yeah,
And
well,
about
yeah.
59,000 people a year are injured by moose doing dumb shit like this.
Yeah, trying to
That-
get
see-
close to them. Yeah.
So 449, that's over one a day. So that is an incredible stat alone. So there you go. Fair play. I do reassess my judgments on this video. I'm like, you're a maniac. You got
They're
a fight
massive,
coming
dude.
up.
They're scary big. Moose.
Yeah, yeah.
They're cool.
Dana's probably, again, you saw when Marab,
You know he's
posted the
thinking,
big-
come on,
he's like,
guys.
dude, what are you doing?
Doing?
You're the main event.
doing?
Stop pulling a Marab. Marab gets cut, posts it on social media. Dana's like, come on. Now he's out there with his top off in the forest.
Yep.
Mixing with the moose.
Shama.
Shama. It's like, just save it. Save it.
Shama.
But he's in Salt Lake City because he's at altitude. You ever
Yeah,
fought at
that's smart.
altitude?
I have not fought that high. I fought in Brasilia, and I think that was like 3,500 feet. So enough where I was a little nervous for it and had an altitude tent and things like that. But I've done quite a bit of altitude training over the years now. I lived with Cowboy at his house in Edgewood, New Mexico, and that's like 6,500 feet above sea level. And we would train, obviously, in Albuquerque at Jackson Winklejohn's gym, and that was 5,500 or so. And I've trained in Denver. It's brutal, man. If you're not there long enough or adjust to it, if you're in 5-round shape, you're really in 1-round shape. You've really got to at least adjust to it.
Well, last time he fought there was against Jan Blachowicz. It wasn't the
gassed,
best
yeah.
fight from either man. And I mean that with respect. And clearly he's learned from his experiences, because that's why he's there early now. Because you can't. I remember when I went and trained in Big Bear, never fought at altitude, but when I trained, it takes a good week at least to really adjust. And unless you try and do it, you will never understand what we're saying. Paul, before we get to some questions, would you mind just giving us, obviously you haven't done the research, but can I get a few predictions from you on UFC 307?
Let me pull up
I'll tee you up.
Okay. Yes. Let's go. I'm not working it, so I'll riff. I'll riff.
Yeah. You just riff it off. Alex Pereira defending the light heavyweight strap for, I do believe, the third time.
Yeah.
What do you think? Khalil Rountree, 5-fight win streak. Who wins this one?
I got to go. As much as we talked about Khalil definitely being overlooked, I'm going with Alex Pereira. I just think if it becomes a striking battle, which I think it will, I think he will find a way to get that knockout. But I do think there's a chance for Khalil.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
So you're saying there's a chance?
I love a Jim Carrey quote. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Rocky Raquel Pennington, Juliana Pena.
I'm going to go Juliana Pena on this one.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think she's bigger. I think she's nastier. I think she's more aggressive. Yeah. I'm jumping down the card a little bit. Do you believe if Kayla Harrison is the champ, Kayla Harrison beats Ketlin Vieira on the same card, that she will then go on and essentially destroy whoever is in that women's title fight and a belt is in her future?
Yes, I do. I think if she can continually make weight and be healthy, I think she's too much, man. I think she's so freaking strong. She's so athletic. She's got the experience, right? She's already been a name outside of the UFC for a long time. She's not going to be overwhelmed by the spotlight. She got in there. She dominated in her debut. If she can just go in there and dominate another one, I think she gets right into the mix. They go right into the title fight picture. And like I said, as long as she continue to make that weight healthy, I think she's champ.
Yeah. No, I agree. We won't go through the whole card. We're not going to go down to
whatever you want.
Cesar Almeida and Iho Pateria and people like that. But we're just, main title fights only. That's all we do here. We're going to do some questions. We've got 2 questions.
Let's do it.
We're going to do some questions, but I'm going to ask you a question. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given as a man, Paul? And what's one piece of advice that you wish you had earlier in your life?
Well, just recently I had a piece of advice from a coach and a friend about making sure that I spend more time with family and my kids in particular, especially post fighting career when I'm still worried about, oh, I want to be an athlete. I want to do all this BS. And he said, you know, your kids won't give an absolute shit about your athletic endeavors. They're going to care about how often you were around when they were coming up and doing all that. So that was a good piece of advice just recently from a friend, David. But a piece of advice that I wish I would have taken more seriously is to take care of my body when I was a young athlete. And it's so easy to just blow it off when you're 20 something, when you're feeling fresh. But my God, if I had done the things then, I probably could have maybe even been fighting still and been healthy doing it as opposed to being injured and all that kind of stuff. I really do wish that I would have taken the multiple people that gave me that advice when I was a younger athlete. And I just didn't give a shit, man. I wanted to win fights and then go and have fun. You know,
it's a common theme amongst all of us. You know, we all say the same thing. But as I get, how old are you now, Paul? You're still in your mid to late 30s, right?
I'm 40 now.
Jeez. Oh, it's over. It's it's over. But no, listen, you know, it's a cliched thing to say, you know, health is wealth, you know.
Yeah.
But it truly is, you know, and that's why, okay, the injuries, whatever, but I did 45 minutes on the Peloton this morning. I did weights. I made Rebecca do weights. She's over there on the other side of the room. Made her. I'm like, come on, lecturing her own mum. Giving her shit for never working out. I'm like, you've got to get in here and do something yourself as well. Yeah. Does your lady like to work out, or do you have to
she does. No. Well, it's more me not giving her enough damn time because of how much I had been working out. And now I'm slowing down with the whole triathlon stuff for a while, so it gives her a little bit more opportunity to. She likes to do some strength training and do lifts, and she does Peloton as well. So nice. Don't mention Peloton. A lot of people say, you know, oh, Dana banned them. Oh yeah, that's right. What do you want? They weren't even in the PI. That's funny. He was like, get them all out of the PI. There are no Pelotons. Oh, is there not? I mean, I've got a Peloton. I think I bought it in the pandemic. Or no, I didn't. What am I saying? I bought it in about 2018. I bought it during the pandemic. Yeah.
It was like $1,200 or $1,500. I don't care what their policies are. I ain't throwing it away and getting a new bike. I don't subscribe to the classes though. I do the just ride. I just put the music
that's what when I got one, it was during 2020 lockdown. I got it and I started getting into biking and then running, and I wasn't going to the MMA gym as much because everything was just shut down. Nobody was even training. And I started doing just ride too. I was sick of people yelling at me to do this cadence, that cadence. I was like, I just want to push what I want to push here and sweat.
I don't need some young yoga instructor that's scantily clad, sweating, dripping. She's yelling to me going, yeah, you're doing awesome. Yeah. Oh my God, you're totally killing it right now. Oh my God, yes, you're slaying this workout. I've tried it. I'm like, fuck this.
I hated it. I hated it.
Anyway, right. We're at the end of the show. It's time for the questions. If you got one, please send it in to bympod@gmail.com. Brian, what do we have today?
So we actually only got the one question because we answered the other one in the episode. Somebody was asking if you thought the Aldana fight was it should have been stopped earlier.
Yeah, I think so.
We already went over that. But we do have a question here from Nathaniel.
Dirty Mike and the boys, what is up, guys? So my question is, who do you guys think has the worst nickname in the UFC? Who has the best nickname? And if you can like change one person's nickname or maybe give a nickname to somebody that doesn't already have one, like who would it be? Like my personal favorite, I think Brandon Raw Dog Royval. That's a badass name right there. Anyway, Harrington.
That is, I do like Brandon Raw Dog Royval. That is good. That is good. I will say this. I'm not just saying it because you're here. I do like the Irish Dragon. That's good. I do. Irish Dragon's good. Pitbull, maybe at one point, would have been a good nickname. Yeah. But there's been about 75 Pitbulls.
Yeah, too many Pitbulls. What's another one? What's his name? Left hand to God.
Yeah. Left hand of God. Left hand to God. I
Belal
forget his
should
name.
be bully.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's what everyone calls him.
I hate to say it, but the Notorious is pretty good.
Oh, Notorious is great. I mean, talk about
It is
one of the most fitting nicknames for a guy.
The Notorious.
And as far as giving a nickname, I have been harping on this for a few years now. Sean Brady does not have a nickname. And years ago, when I was calling one of his fights, I started calling him Brickhouse. Sean Brickhouse Brady. The kid's built like a shit brick house. He's strong as hell, and it rhymes and works. Sean Brickhouse Brady.
That's good. That's good. But like going through your day to day when you meet people and they're like, and what's your nickname? Say Brickhouse. It makes you come across as a little bit Neanderthal, a little bit, you know what I mean? Cage fighter-ish, you know what I mean? It's not exactly sophisticated. What's your nickname? Brickhouse. Brick shit house. I have named myself over the outside toilets in English houses. Brick shit house.
Brick shit house. But he didn't give it to himself, right? And the true nickname is kind of comes your way or is given to you or develops over the years. And this one, he doesn't even have to take claim for it. He can say, well, you know, let's throw this to the galley or the gallery. Boys, jump on, give us some input on this one, please, the pair of you, because there has been some good ones. There's been some ridiculous nicknames over the years. What have you got, Harrington?
Well, as far as ridiculous ones, I'm scratching my head, but I'll tell you, there's something about when Bruce Buffer does ruthless Robbie Lawler that's just like, ooh, okay. I mean, there's gonna be blood. There's gonna be a lot of blood on my TV screen soon.
That is Bones Jones is really good too. I've always thought he's so good with elbows, and he was tall and skinny when he showed up.
I'm just going across.
What about Carlos Condit? The Natural Born Killer was a good one.
See, that's brilliant. The Natural Born Killer for Carlos Condit as well. Quiet, unassuming. Doesn't talk shit, but he will kill you.
Yeah.
CB, the Doberman Dollaway.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't like that one.
Yoel Romero has one of the most ridiculous nicknames that has ever been put on paper.
But he's a very religious man. The Soldier of God fits. I think that's fantastic for Yoel Romero.
That's terrifying.
That's good. What about John Jones' original nickname?
What was it?
Sexual Chocolate.
Oh,
was it really?
Sexual Chocolate. That boy good.
No way. Was it actually? Oh, my God.
He's getting the Diddy treatment soon, I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah.
Sexual Chocolate. Paul, what movie is that? Sexual Chocolate. That boy's good.
You must be crazy. No, I'll tell you, he good.
I'll give you another clip. Oh, no, I can't do it. It's cultural misappropriation. It's coming to America.
Really? Yes, of
Sexual
course.
Chocolate.
Is it barbershop talk? Is that when they say that?
Yeah. No, it's when he's on the stage. He's singing,
I love the barbershop shit.
Chris the Crippler Leben.
Oh, Crippler? Crippler was good.
But what was he before the Crippler?
I don't know.
The Cat Smasher.
Stop it.
He was. He changed
funny.
it mid UFC. When he was on The Ultimate Fighter, he was the Cat Smasher. They changed it to Crippler. I like that.
Korean Zombie.
Yeah.
Pretty sick.
Probably the best, honestly. Like
Korean Zombie.
So much so that we call him Zombie.
Luis Pena, his nickname is Violent Bob Ross.
Oh, Violent Bob Ross.
The best thing
I know, but unfortunately for him, he's had some allegations over the years that don't suit that nickname too well either.
No, they don't. He's, again, put him in the Diddy category. He's one of the 800 dildos. There's a one here. I'm looking at a list. Jules Cottonmouth from the South Bruches. That is, I don't even remember him in the UFC, but that's awful.
Oh, the Gracie Hunter, Sakuraba.
Oh, yeah.
Gracie Hunter, just perfect, cool as hell. Kazushi Sakuraba, absolute legend. Sean, the Muscle Shark, Shirk.
Muscle Shark. Sexy Yama.
Oh, boom, boom, boom. That's my old guy. That's my old opponent. Sexy
Yama, man.
The New York Badass, Phil Baroni.
He was but absolutely F Phil Baroni. I hate every fiber of that guy's being.
Hold on.
He's talked so much. He said some shit to me on Twitter one time when I was getting ready to fight James Vick because I mentioned my daughter on stage during the open workouts, and he's like, "This dude's absolutely gonna lose and get his face smashed in, bringing his daughter into this, and I can smell the beta and all." And then, of course, I won the fight and made sure to tweet at him first thing afterwards.
Well, the New York badass is in prison for life. Did you know that?
Oh, that's right. Well, yeah,
for murder in Mexico.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. So karma got him in the end, didn't it?
I've got a few more good ones. The Axe Murderer, Vanderlei Silva.
Oh yeah.
Quentin Rampage Jackson.
Yeah. The Iceman. The
Iceman.
Lionheart.
Donald Cowboy Cerrone. I mean, classic too.
What about Thug Rose?
Thug Rose is great.
Really offended. No one said the Count, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine. You know. The Last Emperor, Fedor Emelianenko.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What else we got? Notorious, of course.
The Irish hand grenade, Marcus Davis.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, and Semtex, Paul Daly.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. What about the Prodigy, BJ Penn?
Ooh,
yeah,
that's a good one.
It doesn't.
We're almost done, guys. Don't worry.
Strike as true these days as it did when he was coming up, but
yeah.
El Kukui. How do we feel about that one?
I mean, Tony El Kukui.
He's definitely Cuckoo.
When he was on that, he's El Kukui, all right.
Cuckoo, El Kukui. All right. Donald Cowboy Cerrone, the Immortal Matt Brown.
The Immortal.
The Dragon, Lyoto Machida.
Oh, the Dragon. Dude, that's kind of the inspiration for where my nickname came from. It was given to me, but it was because of I was a big fan of Lyoto that he was like, well, we'll call you the Irish Dragon.
I was going to ask you that. For anyone that wants to know.
Where'd the Count come from?
This is true. Before the Second World War, my family, the Bisping family in Poland, were counts and countesses. Goes back hundreds of years. It's in the book and everything. It's a boring story, whatever. Then the Second World War happened. The Germans invaded, lined all my family up against the wall, shot them dead, took all their land and everything. My granddad made it out on horseback, 15 years old, blasting Germans with a shotgun, escaped, made it to England, had my dad, and I was raised on a council estate.
Wow.
You bastard Nazis.
Yeah.
Jason Mayhem Miller. But it's a throwback.
Yeah.
I am a count.
Yeah. I like it. I didn't know that. I didn't know that's where the ginger with intent to injure.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be the ginger with intent to injure.
That is good.
The ginger ninja.
That is so bad it's good. That covers both categories. It's so bad it's good.
I mean, we could go on all day. We really could. We got the Fireball Takanori, Thug Rose, the California Kid, Uriah Faber, Michael Venom Page.
Yeah.
He's getting his own movie, The Smashing Machine.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Mark Kerr.
Yeah. Mark Kerr.
The Bullet, Valentina Shevchenko.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Shara Bullet. That's another one.
Shara Bullet.
Bullet.
Alistair, the Demolition Man. No,
he looks like both of the leads in that movie put together.
Yeah, merges.
Demasio, the Angel of Death Page. Sorry. Anyway, that's it. That's the show, and they are some of the best nicknames. Some of the worst nicknames. Paul Felder. I will see you.
Paul Felder. And shout out to the ginger with the intent to injure for representing us.
That's you.
That should have been my name.
Ginger with intent to injure. Bruce Buffer would have an absolute field day with that.
Oh, man.
In the red corner.
Yeah, he might have a heart attack saying that whole name.
Ginger.
With intent. I can just hear him doing what do you call them? A cameo in the other room doing one of those.
Oh God!
You know when you're on the same floor as Buffer, you can hear him doing the cameos.
He's doing the cameos. The man works his ass off. As do we, Paul. I'll see you in Paris. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you on Monday.